Have you ever had that feeling that everything seems normal, but there's something wrong in the air? You know when you feel like a shadow is following you, even if you can't see it? Well, that's how it started. It was a quiet night, the kind of night that seems perfect for a food delivery job like the one you do every day. The weather was mild, the streets were empty, and the sound of your motorcycle's engine was almost the only thing breaking the silence around you. All normal, right? Then, you get another delivery on your app. The house? Something far away, the kind that seems forgotten in time. There are no other houses nearby, just that one, with a dim light coming in through one of the windows. Nothing too strange, you think. You've delivered to places like this before. As you drive down the road, your GPS starts to lose signal. It goes around and around. And then, finally, it gives the location. You're practically in front of the house now. When you look up, the place seems even more isolated than you thought. The only light comes from that lonely window, and the rest of the house is in shadow. The silence around us is almost suffocating. You stop your bike, grab the delivery bag, and walk to the door. As you reach the porch, you notice the wooden floor creaking beneath your feet, as if no one has walked there in a long, long time. The creaking seems to echo in the air, as if warning you about something, but you ignore it. It's just another delivery, isn't it? You ring the doorbell. A soft ding-dong breaks the silence, and you wait. As you wait, you feel your cell phone vibrate in your pocket. Number blocked. It's strange, but you answer. On the other end of the line, a low, distorted voice whispers something you don't quite understand. There are words mixed together, as if the person is speaking a language you don't know. But the voice, that voice gives you goosebumps. She is cold, almost emotionless, but filled with something that makes the hairs on your arms stand up. Before you can ask anything, the call is cut off. You stand there for a second, looking around. The wind blows softly, shaking the leaves of the trees, but the silence is still dominant. Taking a deep breath, you put your phone away and try to shake off that bad feeling that lingers in the air. It must have been a joke, someone trying to scare you. And then the door to the house opens. Slowly, there is the client, a middle-aged man, smiling, with the air of someone who just woke up. He wears simple clothes, old pajamas, and greets you casually, as if nothing had happened. He gets the food, pays you, and even makes a joke about the night being too quiet. You smile back, but something inside you won't calm down. That voice on the phone still echoes in your head. When he closes the door, you go back to the bike, but something stops you. A sound. It's not the wind or the creaking of the floor. It's a softer sound, like a whisper. You look over your shoulder at the house, but the door is closed and all the lights seem to be off now. I must be imagining things, you think, trying to calm yourself. But the sound continues, growing clearer and clearer. Get out of here, is what it seems to say. The chill runs down your spine and you quicken your pace. You start the bike and set off, not looking back. But the uneasiness doesn't leave you. The way back seems longer than the way there, and the darkness of the road seems to surround you, as if it were following you. When you finally reach your usual area, the noise of the busy streets makes you feel a little better. The sound of cars, of people, everything seems normal again. But then, the phone vibrates again. Number blocked. With a shaking hand, you answer. And this time, the voice says something clear, "I'm watching you." The call is cut off. You stop the bike suddenly, heart racing, and look around. Nothing seems out of place. Only, now you feel watched. As if, somewhere in the shadows, someone is there, watching you. That night, you decide to finish work early. He no longer makes deliveries, he goes straight home, trying to forget what happened. But the feeling that something is wrong doesn't leave you. And for days now, every time you walk by that area, you feel like something or someone is watching you, even if you can't see anything. Then, a week later, You get another call from a blocked number. This time, the voice says your name. Now you understand. That wasn't just another delivery. It was the start of something you still can't explain. And maybe you never will. What was that voice? Why did it seem to know so much about you? Maybe you'll never find out. Or maybe you're about to find out more than you want. So, will you still be able to make deliveries there? I hope you liked the story, because the second story is even more chilling. Just don't forget to see if you're already subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any terrifying stories. You know those kinds of stories that leave you with a chill down the back of your neck, even when everything seems completely normal. That's exactly what happened to a mother named Laura while shopping at Walmart with her 2 young children, Lucas and Anna. It was a normal afternoon, and they were doing what they always did. Picking up things for dinner, buying some snacks for the kids, and even stopping for a while in the toy section to browse. Laura was calm, pushing the stroller through the aisles. Lucas and Anna, as always, were running back and forth, laughing and joking. She wasn't in a hurry. I used the time to think about what I would make for dinner, until that uneasiness came. You know, that chill that runs down your spine that appears out of nowhere, like the air around you had changed. Everything still seemed normal, but her heart started beating a little faster. She quickly looked around and saw nothing out of place. But still, that feeling persisted. So, without thinking much about it, she kept pushing the cart, trying to focus on the shopping list. But somewhere, in the back of her mind, that feeling of alertness wouldn't go away. After a few more minutes, that's when it hit her. There was a man, a tall guy, with unkempt hair and a stubble beard, who seemed to always be there, a few steps away. At first she thought it was a coincidence. Must be someone who's shopping too, she thought. But he was in every aisle she passed, always close enough to be noticed but never making eye contact. With every new shelf she went to, there he was, half in the corner, pretending to look at the products, but always watching her. With every turn she made, the uneasiness grew and her whole body began to go on alert. What could it be? She looked at her children, who were still distracted by their toys, and felt the need to protect them both. Laura decided to check if it was just a coincidence. She grabbed the cart and went straight to a completely random section. The tool section, a place she rarely went to. The man, to her surprise, appeared right behind her, as if he had been waiting for that move. It was no longer her imagination now. She was being followed. What would you do in this situation? What she felt was a mix of fear and determination. She didn't want to alarm my children, but she also knew she couldn't ignore him. So, she took a deep breath and decided she wasn't going to face this alone. She discreetly pulled out her cell phone and texted a friend, Felipe, who happened to be in a nearby store. He responded right away that he would arrive as soon as possible. But until he arrived, she had to stay calm. To top it off, Lucas, without realizing anything, started insisting on going to the bathroom. And you know what a kid is like when he needs something, right? Don't wait. As she walked to the boys' bathroom with her kids, she noticed the man approaching once again. He was almost a few steps away. Her heart raced. It was now or never. She found a store employee, a young woman with a badge on her chest, and, in as calm a tone as possible, told her that she needed help. "Excuse me, can you help me? That man over there. He's following me. I don't know what to do, but my kids are with me." The employee looked at the man, who was now pretending to be looking at a rack of towels, and nodded, asking Laura to continue to the store entrance. "He's near me," the employee said. Laura took her children's hands and walked quickly to the entrance. When she got there, she found Felipe, her friend, already waiting. She wasted no time and went straight to the store's security guard, explaining the situation. The security guard started to walk towards the man, but, as if he knew what was about to happen, the man turned around and disappeared down the aisles. The tension in Laura's body began to dissipate, but the feeling of unease was still there. Who was this man? What did he want? Before she could think any further, the security guard came back and said they couldn't find him. He was gone, as if he had never been there. She, Felipe, and the children went straight to the car. On the way back home, Laura fell silent. Even though nothing had actually happened, the feeling that something was about to happen, something terrible, did not leave her. To this day, she remembers that afternoon as one of the scariest moments of her life. Not because of anything that actually happened, but because of the certainty that she was being watched, followed, and that something could have happened if she hadn't acted. And you know what's the weirdest thing? When she talked to other mothers in the neighborhood about what happened, some of them told similar stories. A man, always at Walmart, always watching, always disappearing before anyone could do anything. No one knew who he was or what he wanted. And that's what makes it all the scarier. I hope you liked the story, because the third story is even more chilling. Just don't forget to see if you're already subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any terrifying stories. I hope you liked the story. Imagine that you and your best friends have decided to spend a weekend at a secluded cabin in the mountains of Montana. The idea was to relax, enjoy the outdoors, and take in the beauty of nature. The sky is clear, the temperature is perfect, and the sound of birds chirping is like a background melody, creating an atmosphere of peace and tranquility. At first, everything seems perfect. You light a fire, roast marshmallows, and tell stories. Laughter echoes through the woods as you feel safe and happy. The cabin is old but charming, with its rustic wooden walls and a porch that offers stunning views of the surrounding forest. But as the afternoon turns into evening, a subtle, uneasy feeling begins to creep in. It's like an invisible shadow is looming over you. No one can pinpoint exactly what's causing this feeling, but there's a growing sense that something isn't right. One of the friends, named Laura, is sitting in the living room of the cabin, looking out the window when she sees a strange reflection. It's a shadow that moves quickly, as if someone is passing by the window. She tries to convince herself that it's just the wind or maybe a forest animal. Laura recovers and joins the group in the kitchen, trying to shake off her uneasiness. As night falls, the atmosphere inside the cabin changes. The laughter and conversations become quieter and the group begins to prepare for bed. Then, as one of the friends, named Sarah, prepares for bed, she notices something even more disturbing. Through the bedroom window, she sees a pair of glowing eyes staring at her. At first, she thinks they're just the eyes of a nocturnal animal, but she soon realizes that they're wearing night vision goggles and the feeling of being watched becomes almost palpable. Fear begins to take hold of Sarah and she warns the others. The group tries to remain calm, believing it could just be a trick of the light or an illusion. But as the night progresses, the feeling of dread only increases. You close all the doors and windows, try to distract yourself with conversations and games, but the feeling that something is wrong doesn't go away. The next day, the group decides to investigate the area around the cabin to try and figure out what was causing the strange feeling. As they explore, they find footprints and tracks that seem to lead to a small abandoned cabin nearby. Curiosity leads them there, and what they discover inside is terrifying. Evidence that someone had been there recently, including a hidden camera and other surveillance equipment. It was then that they realized that the man with the night vision goggles wasn't just a curious stranger. He was a dangerous sexual predator and killer lurking in the woods, watching them with evil intent. The feeling of being watched that they had all felt now made perfect sense, and the fear that he could have been so close was overwhelming. The group runs back to the cabin and decides to call the police immediately. The presence of the police brings some relief, but the feeling of violation and the fear of being watched are hard to overcome. Investigations reveal that the man had been wanted for several crimes, and the discovery of his presence on the mountain was a devastating blow to everyone. Eventually, you decide that you're not safe there and decide to return home. The perfect weekend in the mountains turns into a nightmare, but it serves as a terrifying reminder that sometimes what seems normal can hide the most terrifying threats. The feeling that something is wrong, even without obvious signs, can make the difference between safety and absolute terror. So the next time you find yourself in an isolated place and start to feel that unexplainable unease, remember, sometimes the invisible shadow looming over you is a sign that it's time to take a step back and make sure you're really safe. Tell me which story made your hair stand on end? Tell me which one you liked the most? Because in the next video, the story is even more chilling. Just don't forget to see if you're already subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any terrifying stories.